guys, Fabiana here from Creative Yarn by Fabi, and today we'll be making this beautiful sweater. As you can see, it has pockets. In Portuguese we call kangaroo pockets. I don't know why, but yeah, I don't know why, yeah, I know why. It's because of the kangaroos and they have very similar pockets. Anyway, this is a kangaroo sweater. And we actually had a kangaroo in the backyard the other day. It's really cool because here in this part of Australia where we are is like inland, and we get these kangaroos every now and then in our backyard. It's so cute because they have the little baby in the pocket as well. But anyway, that's something else. So today we're gonna be making this sweater. And for this sweater, it's crazy because I only used 3 rows of this yarn. So this yarn is an 8-ply and it has 270 meters. Okay, so you're gonna be using a little bit more than 3. It's almost, if you're making it small only by 3, you don't need more, okay? But if you're making a large or extra large, in my patterns I actually gonna share all the number of stitches and everything for each one of the panels for sizes from extra small to extra large, okay? And so for extra large, then you need to buy probably 4 of these rolls, but it's still not much. Like, these rolls cost me $1 each. They were in promotion here in Australia. And so this sweater cost me $3 to make. And this took a little longer, okay, because I was filming and it was like a lot of panels as well. But if you go like really hard, you can make I guess you can make in a day, okay? But probably 2 days, more like it, just because of the seamings. The seamings take a long time, okay? And I'll be explaining to you how to make this V-neck here that I really liked. I think it's really cool. And it's like, it's not like so closed on the neck. Like, I don't like the wool touching my neck. Actually, I like these V-cuts. Anyway, and I'm going to be explaining to you how to make this pocket, but in another video. So I'm going to link the video for the pocket on the description below, because you can actually make this pocket for any sweater you're making. It looks really cool, and it actually covers the seaming on the front, because I have seaming here in the middle of both panels. So that's the reason why I think it's cool, because it covers it. And so yeah, it's an option. So it's gonna be in another video that I'm gonna share in the description below, because this video is a little too long. And so let's get started. But before that, make sure you like these videos and comment on my videos, because that helps me a lot to grow on YouTube, and that makes me happy as well. So thank you for watching, and let's get into it right now. To start this project, you're gonna need your ADDI machine or your Sentro machine with at least 46 needles for this one. And so the yarn you're gonna need is this one, 100 grams and 270 meters. And I'm gonna use 3 rows of this yarn, which is around 300 grams to make this top. And then I use these needles to make the ribbing on the bottom. They are 5 millimeters and they are a little longer, so I think it should be like 20 centimeters or something. And then I use these ones for the ribbing. They are 4.5 millimeters. I used for the ribbing of the sleeves, and I'm gonna show you how I did it too. Just crochet hook for increasing and decreasing stitches, okay? I started this top already, and I made 2 sleeves on my ADDI machine using the tube mold, okay? If you are using your Sentro, you can make on the Sentro as well, like that. And I made 100 rows for the sleeves, okay? So 100 rows, and then we're gonna make this ribbing after. And then I made as well 2 panels, they're straight panels for the back, okay? And then I'm gonna show you how I did this ribbing as well, okay? But first of all, make the panels. It's 110 rows by 39 stitches each. So we're gonna be making 4 panels. This the 2 for the back. They are straight panels with 39 stitches by 110 rows. So all of them are gonna have 39 stitches on the beginning and 110 rows total, okay? And then the back we are gonna join with the mattress stitch. I'm going to show you guys how I made the front part of it. And I'm also gonna show you how to make the pocket. So the front part of it, as you can see, is straight here, so we don't have any arm decreasing, but we have decreases in the middle here, okay? Because we're gonna do a V-neck with ribbing from here to here, and so that's why that's what I'm gonna explain to you right now. So on this side, I decreased at the end of the row. So at the end of the panel row, let's say. And the next one, which I'm gonna explain now to you, I'm going to start decreasing on the beginning of the row because they have to be mirrored to each other. So the neck is in the middle here. So I'm going to start with the waste yarn and I'm going to cast on 39 stitches from this peg now. Cast on 39 and then make 4 rows or as many rows as you like to start your project with. That's just for the waste yarn here on the bottom, okay? Now, after you finish the 4 rows, and I forgot to say I'm working on the tube mold, okay, but I'm making a panel just so I can always use the 3 pegs, the 3 black pegs, okay? So after making this, the waste yarn rows, I'm gonna put the new yarn and then start making your rows. Put this back to 0 as well. And if you have a Sentro machine, just have a row counter or something like that for the panel, because it doesn't really count when you working on the panel mold. So I'll be making with this 39 stitches, I'll be making 56 rows before I start decreasing for the neck, okay? So I made here 55 rows and I'm finishing with 57. Anyway, before you finish this row, we're gonna count 8 stitches from here, and this is the beginning, okay? So that's if you are working on your Sentro, this is gonna be peg number 1. And so before I finish this row, I'm gonna count 2, 4, 6, 8 stitches, and so I'm going to make this row with the yarn all the way to peg number 43 for the ADDI and less 8 here for the Sentro. So crank it all the way to 43. Make sure you have 8 left, 2, 4, 6, 8, and then we're gonna remove this yarn, because we're gonna remove these stitches. So we're gonna make these last 8 stitches without yarn. Okay, so they are open here and we are going to remove them with waste yarn. After you remove that stitches, just go back and put that yarn underneath the lip and back here, And we're gonna be making 4 rows now, okay, before we start decreasing. I'm gonna decrease 4 more stitches here. So I'm going to decrease every 4 rows like I did on the other one. As you can see, 4 rows and then 1, 4 rows, another one, and another one, and another one. And then I made just straight until I had 110 rows total from here to here. So crank 4 and then decrease 1. So now I have 110 rows in my counter here. And I made 1 full row without the yarn. And I'm going to remove all the stitches with waste yarn. So as you can see now, I have 2 mirror panels. Okay, and then I'm going to leave this for now. What I'm going to start doing is I'm going to deal with the bottom part of it. So I'm going to mattress stitch this part here. I'm going to put the link on the description below for the mattress stitch. Mattress stitch here all the way to when you reach the last row with this yarn. Leave the waste yarn because the waste yarn we're going to remove, okay? So after doing the mattress stitch, I'm going to show you how I'm going to finish this part here. So when you finish with the mattress stitch, that's what you're gonna have, and then just leave this tail here. So we close it after, just to make sure there's no holes here, because we're going to start the ribbing now. For this ribbing, we are going to put every single stitch inside this needle, okay? And the reason why I decided to make with this needle instead of the circular ones, because a lot of stitches. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the ribbing on this panel, and then the ribbing on the back 2 panels, and then I'm going to just mattress stitch them at the end. So start here in this first loop, and then the first loop, and then the first loop. Make sure you always grab just the yarn you want and not the waste one. Now that I put all the stitches inside my needle and I know they are secured, I'm going to start unraveling this waste yarn here. So after we put all the stitches on the needles, we are going to start the ribbing. So for this project, I'll be making 10 rows of ribbing, but the ribbing you can make as wide as you want, really. And so to start the ribbing, I'm just gonna pull this first stitch to the other needle, and then we're gonna purl. The purl stitches, they look like a little loop on the back. The knitted stitches look like a V. Okay, so you're gonna purl where you have purl, you're gonna knit where you have knitted stitches. And then I'm going to make a 1 by 1 ribbing, so I'll be making 1 purl, 1 knit. So when you finish all the rows and you're happy with the size, I'm gonna count every V here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. I have 11 rows. That's because I wanted to finish on the right side of my work, which is the knitted side for me. To start, we're going to start the same way. Just take that first stitch from one hook, from one needle to the other, and then we're gonna knit them all this time, okay? So we're gonna be knitting this one, and then we're gonna grab that second one, bring to the top of the first one. Knit. Knit the third stitch, put the first one for the top of the second one, and that way finish them all off, and repeat that all the way to the end. So now I have seamed both panels on the back, made the ribbing, and on the front as well. I made the ribbing here, seamed the panels together. And here where I have the shoulders, I have 27 stitches in every shoulder, and I place them in needles so I can make the seaming, so I can see the stitches better, basically. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do that same thing here. So I did for 27 stitches as well on the other side, that's the back part of it. Of course, I'm gonna have some stitches here that I'm gonna still keep in the waist yarn until I grab them to make the ribbing for the neck, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing, and this is why it's good to have a bunch of needles so you can use them to seam and place your stitches on. So what I'm going to do here, so both, if you don't have the double-ended needles that I don't have, you have to face them, make sure they face the same way so you can seam and remove the stitches. So to start this stitch, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put through from the top to the bottom of the opposite side one. Okay, I like to face them this way so it works better. I'm gonna put through that first stitch, pull it. As we pull it, we remove from the needles. And then we go to the other side. Okay, so on the other side, I'm gonna put from the top to the bottom, and from the bottom to the top. Because it has to be exactly like the one under, if you can see here. And then put it through. Always both stitches, the one before and the one after. Now we're gonna grab this one on the other side and the next one this way. And that's why I like to use the needles, just because it's sometimes tricky to see them. And so you repeat this all the way, and then just make a knot with this yarn here, and then we're gonna repeat the same thing on the other side as well. So to start making this neck here, we are not going to work on the round because we are going to stitch the neck here after with these stitches after we finish. So we're gonna be working there and back, there and back. And so to do that, I just made a knot here on that first stitch. And then I'm going to grab every single row of these stitches here, always the same one. So I'm going to go through every single one of them. I might skip a few every now and then just so it's not too big. So like, let's say every 10 stitches I'll skip one. Now cut your yarn here. Finish this off side here. Just with a knot. And then add that same yarn here. Now I finished to cast on the stitches on the last stitch here, just before this waist yarn. And now I'm going to turn and start my work. So in this situation, you're always going to be turning around every time you make a row, just because you don't want this to be worked on the round, because you're gonna join here after, making it tied, and then making one knitted stitch, one purl, one knit, one purl, all the way to the other side. And then I'm gonna turn and work on the other way. So this is my neck, the neck that I have now. And now I'm gonna join with these stitches down here, and that's why I didn't close them yet. So I'm gonna try and join straight away from here to here. So I'm gonna go over half of it a bit, and then so I can put this one on the back this way. Okay, so to start this, I'm going to add this yarn here and make a little knot. Okay, so now this is what it looks like now. It's actually really good. I'm really happy about this neck, how it came out, because it's soft and it's not tied. I didn't want it to be tied because it's a long one. And so right after this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our pocket here and stitch the pocket before we seam all the panels on the side. I think it's gonna be easier to put the pocket this way, because we have to seam the pockets around here in the middle. So to make the ribbing on this sleeve that I just finished, that's a tool I made on my ADDI machine. Okay, I'm going to make the ribbing on the waste yarn side here. So see here, you can see that's one stitch here. It has this loop on the top, and that's where I'm going to start grabbing the first stitch. So I'm going to put through only the first loop of this stitch, and then the first loop of the second stitch, first loop of the third stitch. And because I have the waste yarn, it's easy to know which row I'm working on, but it should be straight here from one stitch to another, okay? That way you know you are in the same row. Okay, make sure you place all your stitches inside the needle, and you can just pull it. And that way you can now remove the yarn. After removing all the stitches, that's what you have. They're all in my circular needle. And now I'm ready to start the ribbing. So I'm going to make the one by one ribbing for this one, okay? And so I'm going to make one knitted stitch and one purl stitch. One knitted stitch, one purl stitch. So as you can see, the marker is right here, and that's the last stitch I'm going to make before I start casting off. So to start casting off, I'm going to work only knitted stitch, so I'm going to knit them all. I'm going to start on the first one, knitted, and then you're gonna get that stitch just before the one you just made, and you're gonna pull it through this way to finish it off, to bind it off. Then you're gonna knit the next one. So after I seamed all the pocket, that's what we have now. It's really cool. I like it. So let's place these sleeves here. Place it right where it finishes here. And so you know where you're gonna start to seam the sleeve, the first sleeve. Okay, so I'm going to use this yarn that I have on this side, and I'm gonna use the mattress stitch all the way to here, and then here I think it's the graft stitch, so I'm gonna put a link. I'm gonna put a link on the description below to all this, because I made this before and I'm making a basic playlist for you guys. So I'm going to add on the description below all this, how to make all this stitching, and then I'm just gonna show you how this sweater fits for me after I finish seaming all this now, okay?